Broadcasting through the depths of outer space.
Hello, I'm alive. I don't know what's going on.
By your command.
Fascinating.
Damn you all to hell!
Nando.
It's the Sci-fi Podcast. This is the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast. I'm Michael Ball, and this is a brand new show with my good sci-fi expert, Mr. Martin Fowler. Martin, how you doing?
I'm good. I felt like I was launching Thunderbirds.
Okay, I'll give people a bit of a background information. To record the show, I do a countdown, which you won't normally hear, but it does have a sort of Thunderbirds vibe to it. So
definitely.
So you're getting a bit of background information about us already. Okay, people, welcome to the show. This is brand new. Hopefully the first of many with my good friend over there. I'll give us some backgrounds about us quickly before we sort of move on to what we're going to be talking about. We're both sci-fi fanatics. I think we could both say that. I've been podcasting for quite a few years, and Martin has been a streaming YouTuber for quite a long time, which is how I got to hear about him and discover him. Great show he does on YouTube, and this will actually feature on his show as well, so people who actually already tune in will be aware of him, and they can check out this new show. And this is going to be kind of like a light-hearted, fun show which provides news of what's going on in the sci-fi world. We're going to focus on a sci-fi show of the week. Martin's come up with an interesting new topic or segment called Predator versus or Who, which is where we have the Predator landing in a film or TV series, and how would the people be able to defend against the Predator? How would the Predator react to this new environment? And it's going to be interesting. And for week one, we are going to do Predator versus Die Hard.
Oh, yes.
So that's going to be an interesting thing to sort of feature. And like I said, we also, at the end of this podcast, I'll feature a funny sci-fi song of the week, something to do with sci-fi, which I've come across. And I've got many a funny tune to share with the world, and I hope that gives you a giggle. So, this is the first show. How would you like to sort of start where you are? What do you want to say first of all before we go to the first topic?
I just caught the new Star Wars trailer, the final one released today.
Ah, another one. I saw a new image which I put on the podcast. It shows a lot of Star Destroyers, and it shows one X-Wing fighter. All right, I've not seen it. Tell us all about it. What do you think about it?
Well, it's quite emotional, really. It's all about them coming together and forming the alliance, and then there's clips of Star Destroyers coming out of icebergs, and a voice and a laughter going, "You should never have come together, because it will be your downfall."
Oh dear, that doesn't sound too good, does it? Now,
no.
I think Star Wars, as such, it is actually doing really quite good, interesting. Actually, let's. What we should be doing is this should be our first segment. So what we'll do is we'll hit the new segment, and like I said, we'll go with it. So this is, Solar Sci-Fi News. Solar Sci-Fi News. Like I said, this is the first show, folks, so bear with us. All right, so carry on with what you're saying about this Star Wars trailer. What else have you seen about it? I've heard that C-3PO is going to die in it or something, or what have you heard about that?
I read that C-3PO changes personality and he goes out kicking ass.
Right.
Seriously, yeah, he's got red eyes now.
That's right.
But there is a bit of a scene where he looks at them all and goes, "This is such an amazing thing that you're my friends." I hate C-3PO.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
Really? You don't like C-3PO?
No, I don't like him.
Oh, okay. Well, is it just the character or the actor, Anthony Daniels, who plays him, or...?
I just hate him, mate. I find him irritating. I bet him. I don't like him. I don't like that robot. I like R2-D2 and I like BB-8.
Okay,
yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I like the K2SO from the Rogue One. I thought he was quite a good robot.
Oh, he was great. Yeah, I loved that.
I love his sort of attitude. Apparently, he had the bad attitude because he was reprogrammed from being an Imperial droid.
Yes.
which is quite interesting.
I loved it when he were knocking out stormtroopers, like banging them on the head with helmets.
Yeah. And also, there's a funny scene where one of the people on the actual film shoots what appears to be him, and then he drops down, and K2SO's behind him, and he says something like, "Was that meant to be me?" or something. It's a good film. Rogue One's really good.
Yeah, it's the best Star Wars film ever made for me.
So, with news with Star Wars, I've got a bit of Star Wars anyway. Apparently, there's going to be another Star Wars film in 2022. A director's been lined up, but it's not Rian Johnson. It's after Last Jedi. It says Lucasfilm reportedly had a director lined up for the Star Wars movie, premiering in 2022, but it's not Rian Johnson. Though all eyes are currently on this December's The Rise of Skywalker, fans can't help but think about what's next for the iconic franchise. Despite the Skywalker saga coming to a close, Disney is planning on continuing to make new feature films, setting aside release dates for December 22, 24 and 26 for untitled Star Wars movies. The idea behind them, or so it seems, is to finally move the property outside the confines of the classic saga and explore new horizons, which I think would be interesting because, like I said, we've had only a couple of examples so far with the Solo movie, which I wasn't that mad on. I didn't loathe it, but it had some problems. And Rogue One, which I love. And of course now, after seeing the first 2 episodes of the first TV live-action series, The Mandalorian, I'm really excited. Have you seen The Mandalorian yet?
I'm actually seeing all 3 episodes tomorrow night, actually.
Yeah, because the third episode is actually released on Friday, the 22nd. So,
is it Friday?
So you won't see it.
I'm going to see the first 2 then, tomorrow then.
All right, well, I'm not going to say anything because you've not seen it, but I was totally blown away by it. One of the great things about the show is the continuity, which has been a big issue with the new Star Trek series, Discovery. But that's a different story. But yeah, I love The Mandalorian. Really interesting. For next week's show, I think we should have a big feature about The Mandalorian. Maybe we can...
I agree. I think, for me, Star Wars Future is now on the TV.
Yeah, I think so. And of course, it actually puts a lot of pressure on the new Star Trek series because they've always had dominion over the TV airwaves over the years. And now, Star Wars, of course, is the big competitor, as you say, to go to the TV route. So it could be interesting. It could be good.
Well, at $25 million an episode, I think Star Trek's got a long way to catch up.
Okay, well, I've also got a bit of Star Trek news. Apparently, Paramount is looking at somebody called Noah Hawley to write and direct the next Star Trek film. He says that for a better part of the year, after it's clear the script from J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay was shelved indefinitely, there's been no indications that a 4th Kelvin movie would be made. However, Deadline Hollywood this afternoon, which is today's date, which is the 20th of November, have just dropped a surprise to say they have it on good authority that Paramount is actively courting Noah Hawley to write and direct the next Trek movie. Deadline assumes that this film will be with a Kelvin cast for their 4th movie together. So if he is a director, then they're still going to persuade the 2 actors, Chris Pine, to come back, because that was why it all fell apart the last time. Because
Pine's agreed to come back.
Oh, so has he? No, see, I didn't know this.
Yeah, he's agreed to come back. Yeah, I think they've offered him the money.
Oh, so there we go. So we might actually see the NX-1701A alternate finally strut its stuff in the new Kelvin universe. So that might be pretty good.
Can I just say that this is the parallel universe timeline. The main universe still exists. A lot of people sort of get confused. The actual universe where Star Trek we love is still there. This is a crossover.
Yeah, but of course a lot of people have an issue with the Discovery series because it should be fitting with canon. It doesn't very well. We've just seen the Cage era Pike's Enterprise in season 2, which looked nothing like the Pike era Enterprise from the original pilot back in 1964. And of course all the previous Star Trek series, when they have gone back in time, we have seen the Enterprise looking like it should be from the 60s series. We saw it in DS9 and we saw it in Enterprise, and we even saw it in the Next Generation. So That's one issue.
It's the issue is that it's the copyright, because the CBS and Paramount.
Yeah.
They're now getting back together, so there might be now. You see, that's why the Klingons look different. They've got
That's right.
25%.
Yeah, exactly.
Different. Work that out, but that's why it's not what it is.
That's right.
I quite like Discovery. I don't mind it. I find it's like Star Trek on drugs at 100 miles an hour. It's crazy.
I was disappointed with the first season. I have warmed up to it a bit. Second season was better. I think the third season, when they're in the 31st century, will be interesting. But yeah, I think it's definitely... It goes back to the War of the Worlds. I had very high expectations for the new War of the Worlds, which has just been released.
You've seen all of it, haven't you?
Yeah. Have you seen part 1 yet?
I saw part 1 on Sunday for the first time.
And tell us what you thought.
Well, I got in about 10 to 9. I put it on, and an hour wasn't enough. And there were a couple of things that didn't make sense about the far future.
Right.
With like the world were all red. Because when you see these like future bits, I'm thinking, is that on Mars?
Yeah.
And then suddenly at the end it's London, set so many years in the future.
Well, I mean, I won't say what it is, although you could probably guess. First of all, it is obviously a flash forward. And I think it's similar to the 2005 movie where the red weed, which was obviously in the original novel, it's kind of starting to take... It's some of the elements of Mars through the Martians are taking over elements on Earth. But like I said, if you've not seen it all yet, I'll leave you to see it. So parts 2 and part 3. I was disappointed, as I said, not on this podcast before, because we've not done a show before. But when all 3 parts are done, sorry, your Skype was muffled, but you come back a bit now. We will do a show focusing on the actual the new series and what you think of it in relation to the book and other versions, like the 1953 version and the 2005 one as well. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, I've seen a clip of the American one.
Right. Oh God. I saw that.
Yeah, I'm not even going to go there on that.
No. It has got nothing to do with War of the Worlds apart from the name. It is, and it features what look like robot Martian dogs or metal dogs. I would say, in its defence, that if it wasn't called War of the Worlds, it would actually be. I would rate it higher. But it is literally got nothing to do with the actual original book or any variation of it. So if you want to go for it as a sci-fi series and just not think of it as that, then it's fine in that basis. But they've stolen the name off the War of the Worlds because it's well known and people thought, oh, I've heard of that, let's check that out. Yeah. And that's basically all it is. So be warned, people.
I would like to pay tribute to the TV series from the 80s. I know it's insane, but I've got to pay tribute to it.
I like it. I do like Harrison Blackwood and all that.
Yeah.
It is a bit of I mean, the first of the 2 seasons was better.
Yes, it was.
But I still have a soft spot for the creatures that burst out of people's chests and they're dying of radiation, and then another lot come along. It's very 80s. But
there's something about it that draws you into it. It's terrible, but it's something there, and I've got to admit, I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, I've got them all. And of course, I love the fact that it's a sequel to the 53 movie. It has some references back to the movie as well. I think you see Sylvia Van Buren, I think her name was, as in the role as well. So yeah, I like it. It's not for everybody, but it has something about it which I sometimes think, oh, let's chuck that on. That's not bad. So that's pretty cool. Any other news before we move on to the next subject?
Well, obviously, Marvel's 5 new movies have been announced, but there's been no names put to them, but there's rumours.
Yeah, well, I mean, I apologise. I've never watched a lot of Marvel movies.
Never watched Marvel movie?
No.
Sacrilege.
I liked the Iron Man trilogy. Is it trilogy? Well, there were then 3. But I don't know why. I think it's something I will have to do. I'll have to get a list of all the... What I'll do is, you tell me the best ones to check out. As long as I know them, they're not completely... If they're not like part of it... I think part of the problem for me is that there's so many of them, and I've heard a lot of them are linked together via...
Yeah, they are, yeah.
That I might get lost because I'm almost like a Marvel virgin. Does that sound dodgy or what? I don't know what I should put that on the podcast.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm not even going to answer that question.
That's the hashtag for the podcast. Hashtag Marvel Virgin.
Marvel Virgin.
So it is an interesting one, but I'd like to... I should have said that. I'll have to check that out. And like I said, if you want to point me in the right direction, I will give them a go, shall we say.
Yes, will do. One more item. As of today, it was announced Doctor Who starts on New Year's Day.
Yeah, that was on my next thing, my actual shortcut. Season 12 with Jodie Whittaker on the 1st of Jan, exactly a year after the last one. We feature the Daleks in an episode which I know for listen to you weren't that impressed with. So that's another great series to talk about. When we do the focus of the week, we'll do, I think because hopefully we'll do a lot of episodes, we'll do a Doctor Who based on a age regeneration of a Doctor. So we'll have an episode features on the 9th Doctor or the 3rd Doctor or whatever, because it's such a big part of the sci-fi universe that you can't just do one special on Doctor Who. It's too big for that. The same with the Star Treks as well. I'll have to do one on Deep Space Nine, one on Voyager, one on Enterprise, all that sort of stuff. So that'll be something to... But I'd like to see the Jodie Whittaker 12th season. I know you pretty much really signed off on it. I can understand why you did, but I will also say that normally a Doctor is normally their best season is their second season per regeneration. So I'm hoping that they're going to come back, and hopefully we'll have a season where it actually just feels a bit more epic.
Yeah,
that's the problem. That's the problem. It doesn't feel epic, season 11. It just felt like very humdrum, and it just felt like it was just sort of going through the motions. And that was.
I've never had a problem. The Doctor being a woman.
No, me neither.
Fascinating, because I thought Missy were marvellous.
Yeah, as a master.
I was a big fan of Missy. She was excellent, and I thought, let's give it a go. Interesting. But the writing was so lazy.
Yeah, and also I think last season they tried to stay away from continuity. There was hardly any recurring races apart from the Daleks in the last one. I know this season, spoiler alert, we're going to see the Cybermen return. We're going to see the Jadoon, and apparently the episode where the Daleks come back properly, I've heard, they actually they filmed 2 New Year's specials, so we won't see that episode apparently until 1st of Jan 2022. No, 2021. No, 2021 rather. So another year to wait for that one. So by then, who knows what we'll be doing by then? Hopefully we'll be still doing this show. We'll be into episode 100 and whatever, 50, 104 or whatever. But we'll have to see about that. But it's interesting times. Doctor Who always... What I've learned about Doctor Who is that no two fans like the same era. Doctor Who is so big that we all have favourite eras. I think you like the 3rd Doctor's era.
Yeah, personally.
And to me, I love the 80s era. Well, I like Peter Davison. And I have to say, even though it's one of the least popular, I'm quite a big fan of Colin Baker's Doctor.
You know, I've heard the audio stories from Big Finish with Colin Baker.
I've not heard those.
And you know, honestly, they are marvellous.
Yeah, it was such a shame what happened to the actor because of Michael Grade and all that stuff. And he was kicked out, and of course he didn't come back for the regeneration. And I've always had a soft spot for Colin Baker, so it'd be great to check out those Big Finish audios. There's so many of those.
Yeah, the attack of the Nervoids, remember that one?
Oh, that was part of the season-long arc where he was on Trial of a Time Lord.
Trial of a Time Lord.
I loved that season. That season was great. It was good. It was great. It was good.
I love it. It's brilliant.
It was actually
the Vanguard.
The Vanguard, who was actually the incarnation between the 11th and 12th Doctor, the evil aspect of his personality or something.
Yes. Well, where is he?
I know. I know. I mean, well, I don't know. In science fiction, you could do anything if you try hard.
I know. But I want the Voliard back.
Yeah, well, they should bring him back. I mean, didn't they? Oh, no, that's going to say he has been mentioned in the New Who, but we've never seen him. But
it was brought back in a Sylvester McCoy novel I read years ago.
Yeah, but I'm one of those people that only likes canon, so it's kind of like I always kind of, although it's nice to hear novels and stuff, I'm a real one of the sticklers for what we see is all we get. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because if you get a novel, then something comes along they make something new, then of course it doesn't fit in with the novel. So Star Wars is a good example of that as well. There's loads of Star Wars.
Star Trek as well.
And Star Trek, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the books, it's a bit. Well, I don't think you think, it's all a bit simpler, but they can do what they want, and sometimes you get a bit annoyed with it. It's a bit, when you're so used to canon.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. It's, like I said, it's a big universe, and we've got plenty of shows. I mean, there's some shows that you got me into. You got me into a show. I've only seen the first 2 episodes. All I can remember the name of it is it's based on Sliders, which actually this follows into our focus of the week in a second. And you told me about it, and it was a series with 4 people, a family. They end up in a series which is like Sliders, and they're trying to get home. And when they arrive, they end up on this roadside. This guy who drives up. That's it. I like that. I think that's really good.
Yeah, there's only about 10 episodes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, but I want to see the rest of that because I thought that was quite good. And it's like mid-80s. It's got that lovely 80s feel to it. And it actually it was the inspiration, I think, for Sliders. So let's actually move on from the news now. Let's go into our focus of the week. Are you ready?
Oh, definitely. I look forward to this.
Okay. Here we go.
It's the
Solar Sci-fi
focus of the week.
All right, so this week, our focus of the week is a great series which I came across in the, I think it's mid to late 90s, and it was a show called Sliders. A great concept of a series about a guy called Quinn Mallory, who is a genius kind of thing, who lives in his mum's basement, and he comes across a device he makes which actually opens up a portal to other worlds. And of course, first of all he goes through it, and then he thinks he's back home, and then suddenly things are different in this world, like Elvis is still alive, cars are stopping when the lights are green, and they're going when the lights are red, and he realises that something crazy is going on. And then of course he ends up coming back, and he realises that he's opened this portal to another universe. And then he has some friends, including a professor, Arturo, and his friend Wade Wells and Rembrandt, and they end up getting sucked through it. And it's a series where they're trapped in similar universes in San Francisco. Each one has its own kind of feel to it, and the whole premise is, this is us trying to get home. What do we do about it? What are we going to actually experience? Now, I thought this series was a fantastic premise. It's one of those series that starts off well and then tails off the longer it goes. But tell me about your opinion of this series. What do you like about it?
Well, I reviewed Sliders on YouTube, and I'm a big fan of Sliders, but there's problems.
Oh, okay. What's that?
There's major problems. Well, there was a lot of politics on the show. In the background.
Right.
And season 1 and 2 are exemplary. They are the concepts.
Yeah.
They
Me too.
go to a different world every week, and you can create these societies where they diverge differently, and they have to deal with the moral dilemma of that society.
Right.
And that's it's like a Twilight Zone. It goes on every week. Then obviously they're going to bring in an antagonist within the series. In come the Cro-Mags.
That's right.
First time they got them wrong, they totally screwed them up when they were going around conquering dimensions. Yeah. And then we got into Nazi Mags. That suddenly, when we met him in 4th and 3rd season, it were all they were like Nazis, and
Right.
it was sort of interesting, but they messed it up.
That's right.
Then we got the serial killer, which I thought Roger Daltrey for the two-parter, where they brought Wade Wells, where it were like when she were leaving, Arturo gets killed.
That's right.
It's they brought in Carrie Wirra, Maggie.
That's it.
Yeah, and then we sort of like Roger Daltrey played this great. So he was going around taking adrenaline from the spinal column to put into him, and he kept changing face.
That's
He
right.
had something, but then it was like 9 episodes of chasing him across parallel worlds of him killing loads of people, and they were changing him every week because obviously couldn't afford Roger Daltrey anymore.
Yeah, they got a new actor.
Yeah, and Sliders started losing its way after this.
That's right.
Because don't get me started on the final season. What they did at the end of when they merged Quinn Mallory.
They merged him with because the actor's brother appeared in season 3.
Yeah, they just got rid of him. He got lost in the vortex. He was gone.
Yeah.
No explanation.
That's right. Absolutely terrible. And then he came back with a different face or something in the last season.
Well, there were this scientist who were trying to do something, quantum slider travel. And he ended up merging him with somebody else, and they replaced him with this. I think he was just called Mallory.
Yeah, that's right. They got rid of Quinn and they just called him Mallory. I think you're right. I don't actually remember the 5th season so much. I think I've sort of seen it, but I just kind of just lost it. It was such a shame because I mean you could tell there was politics because the actors were all going, but it was just the way it was done, and it was such a shame because it was such a cult hit for those first 2 seasons. It could have been as big as, say, Star Trek. I think at some point.
I think Sliders was on its way.
Yeah. It's such a shame. It's such a shame. I mean, it could have been something which was as big as, like I said, all the X-Files or something. It could have been a really massive kind of thing, but they messed it up because, as you could tell, it was internal politics with the actors, with the producers, with the writers, whatever, and it damaged such a clever, unique idea, and I think that's a really great shame.
I remember when I had Sky back in the 90s when that first come on. I watched the pilot episode,
right?
And I watched 2 seasons of Sliders recently, and I watched the final episode in the 5th season. There is sort of a resolve at the end of it with the Cro-Mag thing.
Yeah, I need to see the end of it again.
So I won't give you any spoiler. I mean, it's still open, but when I saw Sliders for the first time, it blew me away. This thing, I mean, the intro to it, you know, and all the Earths flying on the telly, and he's going on, you know, another world, a different place, and all this, and it was just amazing whether you could. The possibilities were infinite on Sliders. I didn't mind the Cro-Mags if they'd have got them, because you need like a protagonist.
Yeah.
In the season, you need something.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah, of course you do. I agree about that.
But they messed it totally up. But the first 2 seasons, I will say, and there is some good episodes in the later seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked Rembrandt. I really did like Rembrandt. He was so funny, but it just somewhere it all got lost.
Well, I mean,
I
was going to say Rembrandt was the only character that lasted to the end.
It did, but there's rumours that what's his name? Jerry
O'Connell, was it? Something like that.
Jerry O'Connell. He got because at a convention recently, the guy that played John Rhys Davies-Jones, he said, "Look, they're on about bringing it back, but there's a problem. Nobody knows who owns the copyright to it."
Oh, I think the actor's called Cleveland Derrick, something like that. Something like that.
Well, there is interest to bring Sliders back, but the problem is nobody knows who owns the rights to the service. It's somewhere it's lost in loads of bureaucracy. They don't know who owns the rights to it.
So if they're lost, what they're frightened of is if they create a new series, then someone could come back and say, "Hang on a minute, we found the information here. We're the ones who are actually the copyright proprietors of this idea." Yeah, so it's like a stalemate. It's like a stalemate by the sounds of it then.
Yeah, because he was at a convention this year, was a Sliders Con, and he was talking, and he said I've been approached. That like Fox were looking at it before and some other TV companies. But he said normally when they bring a TV series back, the legal department it covers it in 2 days.
Right.
But he said it's been 2-3 months. They've never got back. They don't know who owns the rights to it. Apparently they're lost somewhere.
That's crazy.
That's what he said. Yes, that's what John Rice. I will send you I'll find a YouTube link and we'll send it to you.
Yeah, okay. We could even put it on the Twitter account.
Yeah.
So, for subscribers, for new subscribers, we are on Twitter. We are at Solar1Pod. So, if ever you wanted to contact us there, maybe if you don't mind, Martin, we could even get some questions from people and we could answer them on future shows. We're obviously on Podhoster with this news thing, and this is obviously as well going to be played on YouTube as well with some funky graphics I've mixed together as well, so that some of the people on your stream might enjoy this. Say, Martin, what do you think about that?
Oh, definitely, yes. If anybody wants to contact me at Martin's Sci-Fi Appeal on YouTube and Martin's Global Appeal on Twitter and Martin's Sci-Fi Appeal on Facebook.
Yeah, you're just taking over the world, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I am secretly. I'm going to replicate everything, yeah.
Okay, well, let's all be careful about and be worried about our safety for the future, shall we say.
Yes.
Now, another topic, another segment that you thought of. This is the first, obviously, as the #1 show. Predator versus or who. I don't know whether it should be Predator versus who or Predator versus
Predator versus.
Welcome to the party, pal!
Well, let's start with Nakatomi Tower. We put on the film Die Hard. It's playing away the Christmas music, yeah?
Yeah.
All the usual. John McClane's in the building, but in the background there's a shooting star. You just see it as the limo's pulling into Nakatomi Tower. And
actually,
then
hang on. Let's just clarify. We are talking about Die Hard. I don't know if we actually said that. This is Die Hard we're talking about.
Yes. The so-called is it a Christmas movie?
Yeah, go for it.
And the film plays out as normal. Hans Gruber takes over the building, and his men are walking about.
Right.
But suddenly they all start disappearing.
Yeah.
And John McClane's running around. All that's going on, all the shooting, but the Predator's taking them all out as well.
Yeah, right, okay.
Because the Predator's on Earth for the trophy, and it wants John McClane's vest.
Right, that's the trophy, is it? So that's something else per week. We've got to identify what the trophy is in relation to the actual character that the Predator's trying to capture. So it's John McClane's vest this week.
Well, don't forget, in the first 3 to 4 Die Hard movies, he wears a vest, and he's bulletproof and he's indestructible, and it gives him unlimited weapons.
So, how would you think then John McClane would use his knowledge to protect himself from the Predator? What would he do?
Well, I think in the final scene, it'd be like Hans Gruber and him and his wife, she'd be held hostage.
Right.
The Predator turns up, and there's a battle, and it kills Hans Gruber and throws him out of the window, and it's doing all that. But then it's John McClane versus the Predator, and it's a big fight when he's using construction materials around the building, because he's got no bullets left.
Right.
To take the Predator. And he does it.
Okay.
Kills the Predator, kills it with a filing cabinet. It's being pushed to a gas bottle, which he chops off with a hammer, and it goes flying into the Predator and explodes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because John McClane would win by by his cockiness and how he is. You get all these megalomaniacs, and he's there, with his snazzy attitude and that, and his bare feet. His toenails.
So what do you think you'd say to the Predator? What would be his funny one-liners, do you think you'd think of saying?
Well, I think it'd say I think it'd say the army line.
Right.
I don't know if I can say them words on here, but you know the words I'm on about. You know when Arnie says to it in the first Predator, what it looks like.
Well, actually, let's quickly address it as it's the first show. Do you think we should make this explicit or child-friendly? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. There's all that weird stuff going on YouTube now, isn't there?
Yeah. I mean, let's. Although it's slightly off topic, let's very briefly mention that. What is that actually could entail? What is that all about?
I'm still trying to get my head around it, because I'm hoping that I don't have to delete back videos. There's been a case in America where something happened in America that, you know, like you get Lego reviewers and gamers and people that buy memorabilia review or cartoons. A lot of adults into this stuff, collectors. Well, when say you're doing a video about Star Wars toys or something, well, if you've got a young audience watching it, the advertisers sending adverts onto your channel,
right,
to entice the kids. It's like it's class some kind of manipulation or something. It's something like this. So you've got to, when you do your stuff, you get a list of family friendly content for kids or adults.
right. So I still find it quite confusing.
There's a lot more than this. But YouTube paid $160 million fine.
Really?
Yeah. So, but YouTube have now pulled a right nasty one. So that you could apparently a lot of content creators are now getting worried because they could be fined $46,000.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a bit worrying. I think with the show we can use strong language. I think because if you use, mind you, I don't mind using strong language. I think that's fine, man.
Well, then back to Predator and versus Die Hard then, part 2, because he'd be there with his big toenails, Bruce Willis, Officer Die Hard, with blood all over. Predator be there, like green blood, you'd have to big fight, and he'd take his mask off and he'd go, "You ugly motherfucker," right? and you know he'd like Bruce Willis' style, he'd do that, and then there'd be this big fight, and he'd do it with some kind of explosion on the top floor with building materials, say like what them, you know, them guns that fire nails into the wall. I forgot what they're called.
I know the ones. I can't think of the thing. Yeah, I know what I mean. I can't think of the name.
And he'd do it with one of them, and then he'd turn around and say, he'd kick it off. Well, he'd do it down the lift shaft with some C4 that were hanging around, stick it up its
I was
arm.
about to say that. I was going to say that you'd end up in the lift and actually you'll somehow break off the lift, and so the Predator's in the lift and he actually goes tumbling down or something.
He'd go, yippee-ki-yay, what's it? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yeah, all right.
Because can't have Predator falling out a window, because Hans Gruber went out a window.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I mean, it's such a... Because, as you say, part of the Predator is based on what's in the environment of the character. And so, like I said, if he's in a building, of course he could get access to guns, but of course guns won't normally stop the Predator, or it'll just injure him. And then of course, something heavy, like I said, the elevator's a good idea.
Well, I mean, look at the Predator's armour. It's got them electric nets, it's got laser blaster thing on its shoulder, it's got the big spear, and it's got its blade. I mean, it's got all this weaponry, but it's used a lot of it up on taking out Hans Gruber's men.
You can see him using the blade against a door, and suddenly the blade's come through a door and off his jaw or something.
That'd be a fantastic scene, that. You know, there's one like Hans Gruber's men.
Yeah. They're running suddenly.
And these claws just come through a door and like Wolverine and tear through it.
Or what about there'd be like the culmination of the film is where all the hostages from Hans Gruber are trapped in their office or wherever it was, and then the Predator tries to set his self-destruct.
Yeah.
And then they're all trying to find a way of getting away from him or blocking the Predator, and then obviously McClane comes in and tries to maybe somehow gets hold of the device off the Predator and tries to throw it out of a window or something.
That's he's got a rivet gun and a hacksaw.
Rivet gun, that's it, rivet gun, that's what you're thinking of.
So he chops its arm off with a hacksaw.
Or even a hammer or something.
A hammer, a lump hammer, and he smashes the device that Predator's like, lost the plot. And that's when he sticks the C4 up its ass and kicks it down on an office chair. And then the film finishes as normal, you know, when he's kissing his wife at the end and it's all Merry Christmas. And then the government turn up and go, you've seen it, haven't you? You know, that's Gary Busey. He turns up and said, you've seen it, haven't you? In comes Predator 2 after Die Hard.
Well, it's going to be called Die Hard Predator then, isn't it? Die Hard Predator.
Die Hard's Predators.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's pretty good. Oh, God.
There you go. So next week, who does Predator verse?
Oh, I don't know. Has it got to be someone? Obviously, Die Hard's not sci-fi, so it can be. Oh, I don't know. Let's have a think.
Predator versus Blue Peter. Could be Predator versus Red.
I was thinking Predator versus Frank Spencer.
Oh God, it's dead. It's over.
Yeah.
Frank Spencer versus Predator. Frank Spencer, kill it. It won't last a minute against Frank Spencer.
Yeah, but I mean, I can see him like when he's doing learning his driving or something, and trying to sort of kill him with his little Morris Minor or something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to think about that.
Predator wants his beret for his collection.
Yeah. I mean, of course, in the future, after you've seen this series, we've got to do Predator versus the Mandalorian.
Oh God, that'd be a good battle.
Now that would be, especially, but like I said, I'm not going there until you've seen the show yourself, and I've not seen it all myself yet. But yeah, that'd be cool, brilliant, excellent. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I've got some other segments I'm going to come across, not tonight or today rather, but I've got an idea where I can mix my voice into a relatively well-known scene in science fiction, and then you've got to guess the character I'm dubbing over, plus the actor, plus the series or film. I wanted to do it, but I just don't have quite the time to do it yet. So yeah,
okay, sounds good.
Let's try that. So that'd be quite cool. So what else have we got to say about the sci-fi info this week? Anything else you want to share that you might want to bring to our attention?
I watched Man in the High Castle. Was the fourth season. I was very disappointed with that.
I saw the first season of that, but I didn't get into it. Is it something which has gone down? Not as good as it was?
When you get up, you say this is... the first 3 seasons are exemplary.
Right.
I don't want to spoil it for you, but they set out this very intelligent, interdimensional thing, and there's things going on with the politics of that world.
Right.
And then we got the final season, and they just killed everything. There's like they wrote off 70% of it. It just rushed it.
Oh God, I hate it when they do that.
Yeah, so very disappointed.
I've only seen the first season of Stranger Things. I thought that was quite good.
I've not seen that yet.
No, that's quite good. I thought that was quite good. I think they've done 3 seasons of that, something like that. But it's set in the 80s, and it's about this weird kid that they come across. And all I know is it was quite good. Another series which I highly recommend is a Groundhog Day kind of scenario called Russian Doll.
I think I've seen that advertised actually.
It's very good, and it's about this cocky New York woman who ends up in this loop. She keeps starting off in this bathroom, and then she keeps getting killed, and then she keeps starting back, and she's realising something's going on, and then all sorts of things happen. It's only a one. I've heard it might be renewed, but where it ended, it could be an interesting finale. So it looks like we've got some series to watch and talk about and share.
Well, we've got. I'm getting very excited that next month we've got the Expanse season 4 coming.
Do you know that's another series I've not seen? Not seen the Expanse.
I do recommend it. It's probably one of the best things out there.
So, what do you like about it? What is it that makes you think this is good?
Well, it's set like about 300 years in future, but you can relate to a lot of the technology. Right. It's like the ships. People are wearing magnetic boots on the ships. They travel fast,
right?
But not at light speed. And the warships, like from Mars and Earth, if they go into battle, they've got to put on spacesuits even within the big ships because the bullets penetrate the hulls.
Oh, okay, that sounds interesting.
Which I looked into this. Apparently, this is what would happen if you had they've all got Gatling guns of the ships and that. There's no force fields. And
I was going to say, I'm too used to looking at shields and stuff like that.
but there's a big alien conspiracy going on in the background as well, which that's all I can tell you. If you haven't seen it, I don't. There's a lot of politics in it. It's like it's sort of like Blake 7 as well. It's about a crew of rebels that get caught in between this conspiracy with corporations, governments, and this thing that's going on that's bigger than all of it, and they're caught up in it, and they've got this warship, and it's where it's all going from there. I do recommend it's on Amazon. It is superb.
Okay, thank you for that. I saw Blake 7 when I was very young. I saw it because it was made in the late 70s, early 80s, wasn't it? Something like that?
Yes.
And all I remember about it was I remember the Liberator, and I think the ship's computer was something called like Aurak or something.
Yeah, the Zarak and then Zen.
And all I remember was that there's the last episode where the Liberator was destroyed. There was like this fungus, or there was some sort of deterioration in the ship, and it blew up, and then they came back on another ship or something.
Oh God, not season 4.
And then all I remember was the ending. The ending, I was like, oh my God. And the way the series ended was one of the most memorable things. That's all I remember about Blake 7 was Servalan, who was really cool, and they all got killed in the last episode.
Servalan is one of the sexy sci-fi chicks out there. And how she treated men in that show. Men to her were just idiots. And I mean, there's these scenes where she's got all these like sycophantic men round her, and how she treats them.
Yeah.
But then when you get into the cast of the Blake's crew, you focus on Avon, because he's so out for himself, and his one-liners just make that series. The good thing is, all 4 seasons are on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that's a series that they could... I mean, I hope if it ever comes back, they don't remake it. What do you think? Rather just... I don't know.
Well, a few years ago, Sky was involved.
But I was going to say, as I said that, they can't make a sequel because they all got killed off. Unless it's based in the universe that they're in, whether there'll be some interest in that.
Well, there is an official book that finished it, but they wrote a couple of books that ended it. So I don't know if you can class them as canon.
Right.
But the thing is, they were going to remake it. Now, the Terran Federation is like, when you watch some of the episodes, what they do to their own population is sick. I mean, it's a nasty regime. But the question is, as well, with Blake and that, are their views sort of warped as well?
Right.
It answers quite a lot, because it's this right-wing regime that's trying to take over the universe, and that is completely malevolent. But then you question, there's episodes where you question Blake's fanaticism, and Avon challenges him on everything. Blake 7's really good.
Yeah.
To remake that today, but it'd have to be done right, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, most BBC remakes in recent years I've been disappointed with. I wasn't that mad on the remake of The Day of the Triffids. I thought that was a really... I love the 81 version.
Is that the one with Eddie Izzard on the aeroplane when he covers himself in...
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Eddie Izzard's in it. And I just...
That's ridiculous.
I don't know why he was casting it, because he was just an annoying character.
Yeah.
Although I have to say, I recently rewatched the remake of Survivors, and I actually thought that was quite good in the end. I thought it was alright.
I've heard a lot of good, but it got cancelled though.
It got cancelled, but although the thing is with Survivors, because it's one of those shows that it can never end, because they're in a situation where 99% of humanity is dead. So although it ended where it ended and it was left open, in the same regard, it was still quite memorable. Well, I love the original though, the 70s version with Karen and Seymour. And it was what made it feel so real to me when I watched it was that it didn't have a lot of background music. It just felt like real people out there. You know, like obviously in modern series they have tons of the orchestral music and it's all kind of it just felt more like ordinary people, like just trying to get food from a supermarket and there's a dead man hanging from the shop windows and someone writing looters and stuff, and it was those visual kind of what would it really be like if we all died, and how would we survive if it was just like 10,000 people in the UK or something. And of course the one thing I like about that is in the 70s, if that happened, you got more of an advantage because you'd have a lot more books, for instance. There'd be a lot more things which aren't dependent on computer technology. So in many ways, you would have less assets in 2019 than you would in 1976. So it's just, that's the kind of thing that's one of the appeals of sci-fi. You get a subject or something which makes you think, hang on a minute, what would I do in that situation?
My family used to watch Survivors when I was a kid. My dad was right into it, and the opening credits and that music used to terrify me.
It was scary. Yeah,
I was a kid, and there was something about it really pretty. I don't know, it scared me as a kid.
It was scary when he drops that beaker.
That's it. Yeah, that scene.
And they see the Chinese guy who drops it. They see him like in the scene later where he's starting to look ill. And he collapses, and then you start seeing all the aeroplanes flying, where of course he's spread the disease, and one's going to America, and one's going to Japan, and one's going to wherever. And of course, the last one says it's got Heathrow, so the plane which he's transferred the disease is going to Heathrow, where it gets spread to the UK. I love that. I thought that was an excellent series.
There was some great stuff back in the day. Have you ever seen The Children of the Stones?
No, I haven't seen that one.
It's on YouTube. I do recommend it. It's terrifying.
Okay.
It was a kids program. Emil Gareth Thomas is this village. It used to be on Sundays, and it scared a lot of kids because they had this like music. It's this ring of stones round this village.
Right.
And there's something really weird going on. And this father and his son go there. He's an astronomer, and something's happening. But everybody in the village is weird. But what's scary about it, they've got this really freaky music, and the opening credits is all around the stones. And they did this in the 70s with quite a few series, and these were for kids. And they're terrifying.
I remember some other 80s, kids ones, like they had Chucky. I remember that.
God, yeah, that freaked me out, that did.
And then another one which wasn't a kids one, but it was also memorable, was Z for Zachariah.
Oh God, you're going back there.
I love that series. I think it was a special. I don't think it was a series. I think it was like a one-off feature length, or it was a mini-series or something.
Yeah, I remember that. You're going back there.
I love that one. That was good. That was a good one.
When you said about BBC remakes, the remade Quatermass, I got quite excited for that.
Was that
good? They
remade
it.
Was it any good?
It was terrible. They redid the first Quatermass. You know, the plant monster.
Yeah. I saw.
They remade it, and it was in from Lock, Stock and Smoking Barrels.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah.
And it was awful. It was awful.
It's strange that a lot of series, like I said, I mean, I hope that you like the War of the Worlds. I was disappointed with it, but I think we've got to do a show where we have a big focus on that series because you only got another 2 weeks to go, and then you're done. I really want to sort of bounce off what you think about the whole thing when it's done.
You see, when I thought it was on for an hour and a half on Sunday.
Yeah, it was in New Zealand. They showed 2 parts, hour and a half. The one in the UK is 3 parts, an hour each, or 55 minutes each.
Well, how are they going to get... Well, I thought it'd be 6 episodes. I didn't realise it were... There's a lot to get in there in 3 episodes. Not enough.
I'm not saying anything till you've seen it. No spoilers.
Okay. Right.
But let's just say that there is... that's exactly an issue which you'll discover when you've seen the whole thing. Let's put it like that. I'll leave it like that.
I didn't mind. It was quite interesting with the characters and the scandal that he left his wife because he didn't get divorced back then, and do all these standards. And I found that I didn't mind any of that. I found all that quite interesting, and his brother being a minister at war and the newspaper. I found none of it really bothered me, and they did move into the story pretty quick with the first landing. Yeah. Well, obviously they'd landed because of the fishing trawlers that had disappeared. Right. So they were already here, I assume.
Well, like I said, there is. I'm not going to say anything, but we'll have a big chat when it comes out. I'd love to. This is going to be a We might have to do a special show just on the War of the Worlds once you've seen it, and I think that's going to be an interesting one for discussion.
I think we should cover the whole lot, right from the George Pal movie to the TV series.
Let's do a War of the Worlds special. I can even do a graphic for it. That's definitely. I'd love. Yeah. Okay. We're already talking out loud about our plans. This is brilliant.
Yeah.
Right, on that note, because I've nearly been recording for an hour, I think it's probably time for me to sign off. Any last words before we finish the show?
Oh, I look forward to next week's episode.
Brilliant. Okay, so this should be released in the UK, in the world, hopefully Thursdays, about 8 p.m. UK time. I'm going to try and work on it tomorrow morning. We'll try and do this every Wednesday.
Yes.
Try and get in a pattern of doing it. Let's get some shows done. Let's get noticed. And let's have a laugh.
Yes, definitely. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for having me. And
That's going to be good. We're going to leave with a funny track. Did you ever remember the song Spaceman by Babylon Zoo?
Oh God, you're going back.
I've got a funny spoof of it. It's called Spaceman by Blinder. It's where instead of him singing up with his voice high, he uses a helium balloon. That's all I'm saying. It's really weird. You'll love it. So we'll leave with this. Thank you, Martin. We'll catch you next week. And thanks again. Cheers, guys.
Yes, live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Wanted you to go into space, man.
Intergalactic crime.
Space man, always wanted you to go into space, man.
Intergalactic crime. Pungent smells, they consummate my aroma. Beyond the black horizon, trying to take control. See my bird, she shivers in her bones. The sun and zenith rising, trying to take us all. There's a fire between us, so where is your gun? There's a fire between us, I can't get off the carousel. I can't get off the carousel. I can't get off the carousel. Can't get off this world. The sickening taste of the bubbling joke. Images of Norman blokes. Beam me up 'cause I can't breathe.
Blimey, my